Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our Women's Advanced Bible Study Night, 27th of July, 2023. We'll be finishing up with the Book of Ruth. I read 2 chapters last week. I'll read the other chapters 3 and 4 tonight. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel at any time and check out our videos. We got a lot of videos given, and you can they can make dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And for those that feel the need to support the channel, you can look at our cash app and just run across the bottom of the screen. Okay, and this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Okay, Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses, the books of the law by the Lord of hosts. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our Women Advanced Bible Study. Okay, we're going to do our normal, which is the moment of silence, okay, prayer, Psalms, do some women's help, and we're going to our Q&A from current events, and then we're going to some Q&A and a little need to know information. Then we're going to our reading out of the Book of Ruth. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts, and all that he's doing is to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and wisdom. And we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of the people of Israel. Oh, we come this day doubtless that you will appear and that you will gather your nation from among all these wicked Gentiles. Oh Lord, you have given us our insight into the scriptures of our fathers. And you, O Lord, have directed us to who you are and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. And for that, we thank you and we praise you. Okay. So with that being said, somebody gonna read a psalm?
Yes, I'll be reading Psalms chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. Psalms chapter 1, 1 through 6. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and his law doeth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly should not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. So this is telling me that it's only 2 ways, and if you're going to be on the ungodly way, there are consequences for that, and these things will happen to you. And if you're going to be with Yah, these things are going to happen to you, the good things that are going to happen to you, and you have to stay in that godly path. You can't waver, you can't go to the other side, because if you do, you won't get these fruits that he promises you that you'll have. So you have to stay in your Bible research. You have to stay in the obedience of what is that we should do, and that is to learn the way of Yah. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments on that?
Shalom, everyone. As she was reading this song, I was, looking at it and thinking that there's a key word in this psalm, right? Which is
Right.
blessed. It says blessing on the godly, right? So to me, blessed is the key word in this psalm, right? And it serves as a pronouncement upon a certain type of man, right? Not just any man,
Right,
right? So that's kind of what I got out of the psalm. It's a righteous man. So I was looking at this psalm and thinking of that key word blessed, and it's talking about like I said, a certain type of man.
right. Yeah, it's blessed, and that man is blessed. But when you look at that man, every man got a house. So that whole household, if he walking righteous in the counsel of the Lord, the whole house is blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Notice how it says in 3, he shall be like a tree, which is what he is, tree planted by the river of the waters that bringeth forth. That's the children. See that forth fruit in its season. Says, and when the Most High choose, we know he the one opening and closing the woman's womb. So when he says, when he bring forth fruit in his season, then his leaves also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So leaves is the children. They're gonna be fruitful, not you know be wicked as hell and wither away. And then the 4, it's like I said, when the story of JC is that he came and died for everybody, but it's people on earth that ain't come from the Creator. So that killed that story right there. But it says in 4, the ungodly are not so, but then it says, but are like the chaff. So that take me to Daniel at the end of the 4th beast. When the stone comes, that's cut without hands, the stone is going to destroy the wicked. And they're going to be like chaff in the wind. And so we're saying the same thing right here. The ungodly are not so. So the ungodly is not like that righteous man in verses 1, 2, and 3. He is not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in judgment. That's when the stone comes in judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. And we know, couldn't no Gentiles or heathens come in the congregation of Israel. So that's this song by itself killing the New Testament when you read it. So and also I wanted to also say with the tree, right? It says, and he shall be like a tree, right? So and when you understand the word and the terminology in here, so go to the Revelations when it's talking about we knowing that they got it they got it from out of the Old Testament, or they just took it from the Old Testament and never, we don't know where it came from, but it came out of the Old Testament. But it says the tree of life, and then think about it, 12 manner of fruit. So what's the fruit? That's Israel, 12 tribes, 12 boys. That's the tree of life. The tree they talk about in the garden. Well, not the garden, but the tree. He said that by the river, the tree got 12 manner of fruit. Jacob. And then the 12 tribes is the sons. So they got it and put it over there with some more, got something else going on too with it. And they're using it in Revelations. Because I mean, like I said before, you don't never break down nothing like that and don't explain it. You don't get it, you don't see him doing that in nowhere else in the scriptures. In the Old Testament, when he do something like that, he comes back and break it down and explain to you what it is. But over there, it's all these secret terminology, esoteric bullshit that they got in the New Testament. They don't bring the uncover the meaning to it. But the Old Testament prophet always gonna, if he don't break it down, a previous prophet then already broke it down, and then in his next prophet is assuming you know it, because you're obligated to be reading his word. That's what the Shabbat is for. Okay. Okay. Any comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna go into our women's health.
Yes, sir. Shalom, everyone. Please note that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion will be on the benefits of wheat. Did you know that wheat is one of the world's most consumed cereal grains and is grown in countless varieties worldwide? Pure or 100% whole wheat products include excellent amounts of nutrition. That's why whole wheat products offer exceptional health benefits. Wheat is an excellent source of dietary fiber, magnesium, plenty of B vitamins, and lots of essential nutrients, which are abundant with antioxidants and anti inflammatory properties. Wheat is one of the most wholesome food items and is incredibly good for healthy living. Here are some of the health benefits of wheat. Wheat is a significant source of energy and carbohydrates, but it also contains significant amounts of a variety of nutrients that are necessary for good health, including protein, vitamins, especially B vitamins, and dietary fiber. It helps lower your cholesterol, it helps lower your blood pressure, it also helps prevent gallstones. Wheat helps prevent strokes. As part of a heart healthy diet, whole grains may help lower your risk of stroke. It reduces chronic inflammation. It's a natural laxative. The fiber in wheat helps in reducing the likelihood of constipation. It also improves the cardiovascular system in postmenopausal women. The bottom line is that whole grains delivers a variety of health benefits and there are many ways to work whole grains into your diet. Replacing refined grains with whole grains is a good place to start. Last week we read out of the book of Ruth, and I'm going to read Ruth chapter 2, verses 20 through 23. Naomi gives thanks. Verse 20. And Naomi said unto her daughter in law, Blessed be he of the Lord, who had not left off his kindness of the living and to the dead. And Naomi said unto her, The man is near of kin unto us, one of our next kinsmen. 21. And Ruth the Moabitess, I guess I'm saying that right, said,
Mo-
say that again, sir.
Mobitis.
Moabitess, okay.
Yeah.
Ruth the Moabitess said, He said unto me, and also, Thou shalt keep fast by my young men until they have ended all my harvest. And Naomi said unto Ruth her daughter in law, It is good, my daughter, that thou go out with his maidens, and that they meet thee not in other field. 23. So she kept fast and the maidens of Boaz to glean unto the end of barley harvest and of wheat harvest, and dwelt with her mother in law. Tonight's discussion was on the benefits of wheat, and I read out of the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verses 20 through 23. Shalom.
Okay. Appreciate that information. Anybody have any comments? Okay. We're going to the current event.
God, but clearly they want the people to take their eyes off of a God and just put them on a good person and to deny their faith in essence as a result of that, and then to obviously supplant that with the Communist Party as the ultimate deity, really, which is.
So what's going on with this particular information right here is it says the title is China making a dangerous move to rewrite the Bible. Right. So when you understand that, we know that what's been happened to us, the Israelites, uh, the Gentile, he didn't rewrote the Bible, and he added to it with the New Testament, uh, And the Jews that's over in the land right now don't believe in God. They don't believe in Jesus because they know better. Chinese don't either. Okay. Okay, the Chinese don't either. So what you see happening is they're trying to get them to they hoodwinking the scriptures from a Christian perspective, trying to get rid of denigrate JC because they want them to believe in communism. Let's check it out. So, like you said, what you
similar to what North Korea and many other countries have done.
And Tina, this continues China's recent crackdown on underground churches that refuse to become part of the state-sanctioned religious network. What is it like for them in China, for churches right now, these underground churches?
Right. Well, the underground church in China is enormous. It's larger than even Christians in the United States alone. So it's a huge amount of people. And the Christians there have suffered so much over the years, from the one-child policy to re-education through labor camps to even we've seen the Falun Gong and other groups have their organs harvested. We don't know how many Christians that's affected, but the torture and the harassment of Christians has continued unabated and has gone to extremes over the last several decades. What we've seen recently with this latest attempt by the Chinese government is that they're trying to really get at the heart of the motivation. We know that human beings around the world are motivated by our faith, and that our convictions and our free will really allow us to choose right and wrong, and to choose justice, and to choose a higher being, and to live according to that. And obviously that threatens the core of communist ideology in China in particular. And so this is their latest attempt to get to that. But Chinese Christians have suffered egregiously so much over the years. Most recently, we saw churches there have to register, and there's only certain state-sanctioned churches allowed in China. And one church pastor that tried to register was fined about 400,000 yuan, which is around $50,000, for failing to register properly. These kinds of fines, obviously, pastors there can't afford when they live on dollars a day. So this harassment and abuse and constant just discrimination and threats to the church are ongoing. It's something that we can't even imagine here in America.
And I want to get to this because, we want to know, how does this religious persecution in China set a dangerous precedent for religious persecution here in America, in the West?
Right. Well, we've seen all over the world despots and authoritarian regimes and even terrorist groups try to control what people think and how they worship and what they believe. Because when you can control that, when you control the heart and the soul of a person, you really control all of them, and you can manipulate them, and you can commit horrible human rights abuses against them. And so, whether it's in North Korea with the Juche ideology that, they torture people every day to believe in, or whether it's in Iran with the Ayatollah. And
okay, so listening to that, wouldn't you say that that's what they've done to us as Israelites? Blinded us. So the same thing it's not nothing but when you're dealing with the God that we're dealing with. I was telling you about recompense. And it's coming back. It's judgment. They think it's something else, but it's judgment coming. It's judgment coming on them. And then not only that, it goes to what I was saying about who's going to deliver us. When Cyrus came and delivered us back in from Babylon, he didn't believe in no Jesus. And so these Chinese people, they don't believe in no Jesus. So, but they know who we are. We didn't see all kind of videos on them knowing that. Just like if Cyrus didn't know, the Lord of hosts told him who he was. And he sent him to deliver us from out of Babylon. So you can see, when you understand what's really going on, you can see what's coming. They're just going to do, they're not going to deliver us because of Jesus. They're going to deliver us because of, like I said, of what's been told to them, it's been prophesied, and then because of what it's going to do is going to benefit them, not because of Jesus or the New Testament, because they don't believe in it. And you can see that. Okay. Any comments? Okay. Got one more right here.
What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. We got some major stuff here for you guys. First, I want to cover what happened to Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader of the Senate here. He had what is being considered a maybe major medical issue. Remember here that Mitch McConnell is 81 years old in the Senate. Also notable here is Nancy Pelosi, who's 83 years old. President Joe Biden is 80 years old. Former President Donald Trump is 3 years younger than him, 77 years old. If President Biden or former President Donald Trump wins the next presidency, as one or two of them is considered to be the next presidential candidate, they would both be well into their 80s, with the next presidential term being 4 more years. And remember, the next election is still a year or almost a year and a half away. Biden could be almost 85 years old by the next presidential election, and former President Donald Trump could be maybe 81 years old or so. Yeah, this is why, presidents and senators in their 80s is maybe a little bit concerning. But here's what happened to...
What is a home warranty? It's a 1-year service.
Here yesterday, and also his thoughts first about what happened. Take a listen here.
Tonight, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell speaking out about a health scare earlier today where he froze for about 30 seconds during a news conference. Here's what he just told reporters.
The president called to check on me. I told him I got the sandbag.
Oh, nice. How are you feeling now, sir? How are you feeling now?
Have you seen a doctor? Are you going to
Any idea what happened?
Huh?
Any idea what happened?
I'm
Dehydrated?
Come on, what's those sandbags?
Thank you, Senator.
Senator, did you talk to a doctor today?
Folks, we're good, thank you.
A sandbag, of course, was a reference to Joe Biden, right, at his the commencement address that McConnell was making. But here's what happened to McConnell earlier today.
We're on a path to finishing the NDA this week. Been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
You want to say anything in the school first? Let's go back.
Go ahead, John.
So this is the, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the IRA.
Yeah, so obviously they're a little hard to watch no matter what side of the political aisle you're on, whether you're in the middle, left, or right. My thoughts and prayers go out to Mitch McConnell and for a swift recovery. Hopefully he's okay. President Biden reached out to him. They've actually been a longtime friends. I still remember that Mitch McConnell went to President Biden's son's funeral. He was the only Republican to do that. I honestly still think that they remain friends despite maybe a little bit of political adversary. It's actually good to see that we are actually all humans. We should actually be sociable and polite to each other, despite put political stuff aside.
this is actually what we should be concerned about. You can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Yeah, so that's first and foremost. And honestly, I think it also brings up a little bit. Remember that senators get elected for 6 years. I think Mitch McConnell has about 5.5 years or 5 years left on his term still, as he was reelected here. And this just does kind of bring up a thing that, should people also, you see maybe on the screen there, Dianne Feinstein is 90 years old as a senator. Should there be an age limit on an upper age limit? There's a lower age limit to be a president at age 35. Should there be an upper age limit to be in Congress or a president? Maybe 80 years old should be the upper age limit. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Of course, just a thought. Let me know down below in the comment section. Should there be? Shouldn't there be? There is a lower age limit. Should there be an upper age limit? Yeah.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody see that?
Yes, sir. I saw it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that look good. That's for sure.
No, and we keep wondering why they keep upping the age limit on Social Security is because you got these people that's still in there thinking they can do the job,
Right.
and they not capable. It's
Right.
that power trip they don't want to give up.
Right. Remember what he said, he the one behind, he the one said we don't deserve reparations and all that. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got some need to know information.
Vice President Kamala Harris showed up to Jacksonville, Florida at the Ritz Theater and Museum in a historic part of Jacksonville that was also known as the Harlem of the South, to give a speech and to talk about the recent things that has happened with the Florida's educational system in regards to some of the things they want to teach children, like slaves were able to leave the plantation and get a good job. Also, they want to teach that the massacres were actually the fault of Black people. Now, these are some of the things that she said. When I think about what is happening then here in Florida, I am deeply concerned. I do believe this is not only about the state of Florida, there's a national agenda afoot. And what is happening here in Florida, extremist so-called leaders for months have dared to ban books, passing the laws Don't Say Gay, trying to instill fear in our teachers that they should not live their full life and love who they love. Now, on top of all of that, they want to replace history with lies. Middle school students in Florida to be told that enslaved people benefited from slavery. High schoolers may be taught that victims of violence, of massacres, were also perpetrators. I said it yesterday. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not have it. She also went on to say, we're fighting back against attempts to gaslight us, cover up our history, and rewrite the horrors of slavery. She says, POTUS and I will always stand up for fundamental freedoms, including the freedoms to learn and teach America's full history. Well, I guess, the vice president has a reason to be concerned, but is she concerned enough to go back to POTUS and say, hey, we need to write Black people in America who are descendants of slavery a check? I know what I said. I said, well, I ain't gonna just do anything just for Black people now. I know I said that, but in light of all the ridiculousness that we're seeing go on, I think it's only fair that we write my people, since you said it's our history. Write my people a check, Joey. Write them a check. So what I'm trying to say here is, don't fall for it. Don't believe the hype. Kamala knows that they need to go and talk to Black people, and they gonna get in there with the hot ticket, hot button items, because they know we're sensitive about that stuff, right? And they're gonna rally up the troops and feed red meat to us, letting us know about the racism. But to me, nothing is more racist than being what they call the second most powerful person in the United States and not using that power for your people. To me, that's a little bit on the racist side. And you know that with all this history, you talk about Florida trying to suppress that Black people, we were not, and our ancestors were not vindicated financially or any other way due to the things that our ancestors went through. And yet you say you ain't gonna do, you don't think that we should get reparations, and neither does Joe Biden. So what are you really doing in Jacksonville and any of the other Black towns and areas and stuff that you'll visit? You're trying to blow smoke, y'all know where, to get Black people to believe more of your lies so they'll show up in 2024 to put you and embattled Joe Biden back in the office. I'm telling y'all, Black people, don't y'all fall for that. When Kamala comes a wiggling and giggling to a town near you, y'all need to ask her, all right, all that is great. When are the checks rolling out since you care so much about us? So y'all tell me what you think of that.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Shalom. That is just, that's crazy. I mean,
Okay.
you know, you saying, okay, you can teach history, right, of slavery, but you can only say and teach it this way. I know that they're saying that, okay, I think for middle school and high school they can teach it, but it is that it was you know, slavery benefited us because we learned developmental skills,
Right.
you know, and the massacres happened because we were rebellious, you know, like, come on now.
Was that song?
Yeah, you have a governor that's totally trying to rewrite our history.
Well, yeah, it's a joke. Like I said, it's even entertaining. Like I said, with this, when you get to a certain point with this information, I mean, you can't sit there and listen to nobody talk about singing and worshiping and JC. You can't deal with it. Same with this. You can't. You come and look at Obama. Now he was imitating Martin Luther King while he was on the campaign trail. Those 2 times he won the office. Nah, you ain't talking like Martin Luther King. Nah, he didn't got what he wanted. Now he gone on. He knew that was gonna, like she said, it's gonna light a fire under certain people by him coming up and talking and quoting Martin Luther King and all that. And here she come now. Like he said, back when you first won, you was all up in the Black folks' face and won. Then the first thing you did was pass a bill for the Chinese people, and then you turn around and pass a bill for the gay folks. Then did shit for the Black folks. And now you coming back around to another election. Now here you go again, like the lady was saying. Now you back in the Black quarters again, and Negroes constantly falling for it.
Shalom. I agree with you both on that, and as we know, things are written, So I know they have an agenda. It's just like Obama. He get in there and he put the gays, like you say, in the military. So they have an agenda. They tell them what they can and cannot do, and they go for it for the fame and the fortune or whatever personal gains they have. Because it's evident they're not there when you need them, and they come when they need something.
Right, exactly. Then we sit there and entertain it. That's the thing about it. That's got to stop. But like I said before, it's way bigger than that because you go back to those sororities and those well, I can't think of the name. Those sororities and those fraternities that they have. That's who the educated is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a mindset that didn't spread across the United States amongst the blacks. Like I said, you go back and look at it, and every town, every little city and town in the Black quarters, who the first one kicking open the doors of the church? These educated folks. That's who the pastors is. They're the ones kicking the doors open. They're the ones pushing the agenda of JC.
Right.
Okay, is that something?
Yes.
Yeah. When you would figure it would be the so-called uneducated, but it's the educated ones they're the ones pushing the agenda. They're the ones that snowed in. Yeah. Okay. Any comment? Other comments? Okay. So with that, we're gonna go to Q&A. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything from last night or last week or something you came across you want to talk about? Okay. Okay. Got a little conversation right here. We'll listen to it. Somebody got something?
Yes, sir. I just want to say we
Okay.
hear all of these storms and floods. They never out where all the persons that are being displaced are, and it's been thousands among thousands of people who are without homes and stuff. Where I wonder where are these people going, and who's funding all of this.
Right, right, yeah. It's the same thing with the. I mean, it's two things that trouble me, and that's one of them is this large increase of people that's dying, just falling dead, and then the mass amount of um, black women that's being missed, coming up missing every year, and where they at? I mean, because it's way too many.
Right, and they're not shining the light on that. They're just keeping it moving.
Right. It's all part of their system. That's part of the system. They've been, it's been going on way back since ancient times. They need those, people. It's part of their system that they got in place. Like they said, they never stop worshiping those gods from way back. They still that same human sacrifice, all that still going on. They never stop.
Shalom.
Okay. So, anybody have any comments? I'm just gonna play this. It's got to do with says why black women are being thrown under the bus. It's a comment.
Maybe they aren't talking points. They aren't just something that I'm saying. No, this isn't in response to anybody's comments. If somebody says anything, I didn't see it. Once you get to a certain point, you can't really read a whole lot of comments. But I see us not getting it. Anyway, I want to talk about black women being thrown under the bus. And this is even beyond like the Tea Party thing, the trans argument. Because I saw a video earlier about a popular Tea Party. They get popular for running vlogs and on Facebook and on this platform and that platform. And they're talking out the side of their neck. It's interesting to hear them talk sometimes because I know y'all ain't sitting there talking about you secure with who you are. If that's not the biggest contradiction that I have ever heard, you cannot be a trans anything. You cannot sit here as a trans, quote unquote, a trans woman talking about you are secure in who you are. If you were secure in who you were, you wouldn't be trying to dress up to be somebody you're not. So all you wig wearing sirs, we have several seats. You're not secure. But now I'm going to talk about the insecurities of Black women and why you are now being disrespected on every end. Black women are complaining more now than ever that they are being disrespected. And you are being disrespected on every turn, right? Thank you, Barry Little. Thank you so much. I sound like it says incoming tuition drop. Thank you so much for kicking off the contributions. Thank you, sweetheart. And Black women are being disrespected. But when we gotta talk about how we got here, though, see, that can't be ignored. Black women, the lesson here that I'm gonna need y'all to understand is that you cannot actively disrespect yourself and then expect respect coming from external sources, other groups, other people, other organizations, other entities, other anybody else. They are not going to respect anyone that proves time and again that you don't respect yourself, that you don't respect your position, that you don't respect who you are or who you were supposed to be. Because Black women have spent decades now disrespecting and dishonoring things like femininity, things like womanhood, things like wifehood, motherhood, being a support system for your family, for your community, you know what I'm saying? Having selflessness and empathy and things of that nature, being nurturing and caring and just generally taking your own appearance value seriously, vanguarding and gatekeeping who you are at your essence and at your core. When Black women decided that they didn't need to do that, that is when other outside entities said, oh, you don't take yourself seriously, so neither do we. Because when you respect yourself, other people don't have a choice but to respect you. They may not like you. They may not agree with you. They may not rock with you, but they're gonna have to respect who you are because you don't leave them any alternative. You don't leave them any alternative at all. the erasure of who women are. Notice that this Tea Party woman fight is between Black women and really Black men. This that the men are dressed up as women and are trying to quote unquote identify as a woman. But I have not heard any white women chime in yet. Notice that anytime there is a need for all women to speak up, when Black women say something first and say, even if she's right, like Jess Hilarious in this instance was right. She's right on what she said. She was a Black woman that said what other women were thinking. Do you think, see, the erasure of women is not just for Black women, but do you see any white women back in Jess? I have not heard one white woman anywhere say, you know what, I stand with Jess Hilarious on what she said. We are all women. And women do gatekeep women. Nope. See, they ain't never standing with you. White women don't ever stand with you. You have stood with them. You stood with them to the detriment of you. You stood with them to the detriment of your family. You stood with them to the destruction of womanhood. You stood with them with feminism. You stood with them with women's lib. You stood with them with sexual liberation. You stood with white women. You stood with them. But every time Black women gotta stand somewhere, you never see no bunch of white women crowd.
Okay. Any comments on what you heard? Any feedback?
Yeah, a lot. Even at my job where they some, there are many of them, and they do turn in on each other. And
Okay.
it's just like I don't see the other race turning in like she's saying. I haven't, and they're there as well.
Okay. You think that's part of the curses or what?
Yes, sir. I do believe it's that part of that dualism that comes all the way back with the Gentiles and Caesar and all of that.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else got any feedback? Okay, yeah. Like I said, what you mentioned was Black men is retaliating on what they're saying, but it's not gay Black men. So that's, to me, that's understandable because that's the spirit that's on them. It's like Daniel said, confusion of face. If you're not keeping the most high laws and the statutes and contrary to them, you're gonna have confusion of face. And not being in our rightful place, which is in our homeland that was given us by our forefathers, we're also gonna have confusion of face with the majority of the people. There's always gonna be contradictions and conflict and just disruptions because of that's what's on us. That's the spirit that's on us. Okay. So that being said, nobody else have any other comments to it. I'm gonna read these 2 chapters out of Esther. Okay, we read chapters 1 and 2 last week. I mean, out of Ruth. My bad. Let me get it. Okay. Chapter 3 says, Naomi instructed Ruth. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto Ruth, my daughter shall not seek a rest for thee, that it may be well with thee. And now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens thou was. Behold, he when not barley, he winneth barley tonight in the threshing floor. Wash thyself, therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the floor. But make not thyself known unto the man, until he shall have done eating and drinking, right? And it shall be, when he lie down, that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie, and thou shalt go in and uncover his feet, and lay thee down, and he will tell thee what thou shalt do. And she said unto her, all that thou sayest unto me, I will do. And she went down unto the floor, and did according to all that her mother-in-law had bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, and he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn, and she came softly and uncovered his feet, and laid her down. Okay, and then it says Ruth claimed Boaz as kinsman, and it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet, and he said, who art thou? And she answered, I am Ruth, thy handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thy handmaiden, for thou art a near kinsman. And he said, blessed be thou of the Lord, my daughter, for thou hast showed more kindness in the latter end than that of the beginning, inasmuch as thou followest not young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, fear not, I will do to thee all that thou requirest. For all the city of my people doeth know that thou art a virtuous woman. And now it is true that I am thy near kinsman, albeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. Tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman, uh, well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part of the kinsman to thee, then I will do the part of the kinsman to thee, as the Lord liveth, lie down until the morning. And she laid at his feet till the morning, and she rose up uh, before one could know another. And he said, let it not be known that a woman came into the floor. Also he said, bring the veil that thou hast upon thee, and hold it. And when she had held it, he measured 6 measures of barley, and laid it on her, and she went into the city. And when she came to her mother-in-law, she said, who art thou, my daughter? And she told her all that the man had done to her. And she said, these 6 measures of barley gave he me, for he said to me, go not empty unto thy mother-in-law. Then said she, sit still, my daughter, until I know how the matter will fall. For the man will not be in rest until he have finished the thing this day. So that was chapter 3. Any question or comments on that? Okay. So it's no difference with this kinsman redeemer. It's no different than what happened right here. For one thing, he gave her the barley to go get in a normal situation. If Ruth's husband would have been alive, he would have sent it to her husband. But Ruth's husband, she don't have no husband. So Naomi's, Ruth covering is Naomi. So he told her, she took the barley to her. because like when we started reading last week, we saw that her husband got killed and her 2 sons. So it's no different than the story with Judah and his 3 sons. The first boy married Tamar and didn't bring up no seed and died. So his kinsman redeemer, the next in line to bring him up a seed is his brother. The brother that's next to him. So his obligation was to go in to raise up a seed for his brother. And like he said, there's nothing else no more important. And when you're an Israelite and you understand that, you ain't gonna rest until you done that, like he just said. So the boy's obligation was to bring up a seed for his brother, but we know what he done. He spewed it on the ground. And so right here we see in verses 13, after he Ruth told her, Naomi told her what to do, so she went and done it, and then he responded and said, and she lay at his feet until the morning, and she arose up before one could know another, and he said, let it not be known that a woman came into the floor, and he said, bring the veil. So he gave him, I gotta go back up, and then he says, 11, and now my daughter, fear not, I will do to thee all that thou require. And that's to be our kinsman redeemer, but it's somebody that's in that position over him. So he says, for all the city of my people doeth know that thou art a virtuous woman. So this only applies to a virtuous woman. 12, and now it is true that I am the nearest of kin. Howbeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. So he got to see if the other guy is going to do the job that he's supposed to do. And if he don't, then he's going to do it. So it says, tarry this night, and it shall be in the morning that if he will perform unto thee the part of a kinsman, well, let him do the kinsman part. But if he will not do the part of the kinsman to thee, then I will do it, the part of the kinsman to thee. And the Lord liveth, lie down until the morning. So when you get over to 16, it says that, and when she came to her mother-in-law, came to her mother-in-law, she said, she told her all that the man had done to her, and she said, these 6 measures of barley gave he me, and for he said to me, go not empty until thy mother-in-law. So if the husband was alive, she would have took that to him. And then he tells her, then she said, sit still, my daughter, until thou knowest how the matter will fall, for the man will not. So the man that he said is nearest of kin than him is nothing no more important than that. So she says, until thou knowest how the matter will fall, for the man will not be at rest. So he can't be at rest because the law is on him. He got to deal with that. So he says he will not be at rest until he have finished the thing. So if he's not going to do it, he's going to inform Boaz that he ain't going to do it. And then that's when Boaz come in and take over and do the job. Right? So that's how they go. And like I say, it's no different than the situation with Judah and his son and Tamar. Okay, chapter 4. Then when Boaz up to the gate and set him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, "Lo, such as one, turn aside, sit down here." And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And they sat down. So notice right here, this pertaining to when you hear people always saying at the very end, 10 women gonna take hold of one man. Same thing right here. Right here. It says, and he took 10 men of the elders of the city, because the law is involved. 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And they said, sit down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, seller a parcel of land, which was our brother Eman. So this the guy, right? I said, Emelech, he's the one that was supposed to receive the 6 barley of bread, 6 barley, measures of barley. 4. And I thought to advise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name. See that? To raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And this also tied to, I told you, 6 years until the ground. The 7th year is the year release. So everything that was talk pertaining to the property and the land, everything go back to the original person on that 6th year. On the 7th year, everything go back. And if somebody owed you something, it's nullified. So anyway, it says, then said Boaz, what day thou buy the field of the hand of Naomi, thou may buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon the inheritance. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. Now, this was the manner in the former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing, for to confirm all things. The man plucketh off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe, and Boaz said unto the elder and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have, but all that was Emelech and all that was Shethan and Medan, that's his sons, of the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be cut off from among his brethren and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day, all of the people that were in the gate and the elders, and we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did by the house of Israel, and do thou work or worthily in Ephrata, and be famous in Bethlehem, and let thy house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore unto Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman. So here you go. It comes right up right here. Tamar and Perez. Judah ended up having to take the seed for his son. He ended up having, Tamar ended up getting pregnant for him. He had 2 kids. So let's look at that right quick. Go to Genesis. And you'll see what happened. It was twins born. But let's look at it. See, that was in, I think, 36. Let me see. At 36. So, yeah. Okay. Joseph. After Joseph goes to Egypt. Okay. So it's a dream. Yeah, Sons of Judah. So Sons of Judah, I'm in 38, and it says, okay, came on to see Judah. Yeah, she bring forth twins. It's 38 and 27. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, when she started giving her birth pain, that behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed, that one put out his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his a scarlet thread, saying, "This came out first." And it came to pass as he drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Perez. And we go back to Ruth over here, what I just read in chapter 4, I think it is. Let me see. Chapter 4, verse 12. And let the house be like the house of Perez. That's the boy that broke forth. Whom Tamar bore under Judah, of the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this woman. So we know that there's one, that the seed we're talking about, David. David is the seed that Ruth had. See, let that seed be like Perez. So David is the seed that came forth. Okay. So, but anyway, I had a comment. How many people you know, women, verse 10. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Moab, have I purchased. See that? Have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among thy brethren and from the gates of this place. Ye are witnesses this day. So, you have to, it'll be hell in the house. You got to, if you had to apply this law right here today, be hell in the household. Come on. So anyway, another thing I want to shine a light on is notice how all this going on. He had to go get 10 witnesses, then he had to pluck off one of his shoes and all that. And all these, they at the gate now, because I told you they at the gate. This is where Esther was dealing with Mordecai was at the gate. Barak, when Jeremiah gave him the scroll, he took it to the gate. That's where all the princes was at the gate. So for what? That's where all the transactions going on. Then they witnesses. So now let's go back and look at this, like I was saying before. When David danced, David had on a white robe. David was girded around the waist, just like the Lord of hosts was, that Daniel saw in chapter 10 of Daniel. So all this stuff is, when you want to finally understand what's really going on, you can see it. So lost my train of thought. I was going to Isaiah 43. So just like Boaz had to have these witnesses, and he's saying these people, they're my witnesses, right? So we in Isaiah 43. This is why the Lord of hosts, they ain't doing nothing no different than what they God doing, right? So you go to Isaiah 43. This just verify what I've been saying over and over. I'm in Isaiah 43, verse 10, and it's the Lord of hosts talking. Ye are my witnesses. Go back to what we just saw. Ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen. Who he talking to? The Levites. Just like if they see him, they see each other on a daily basis in Jerusalem at the gate and everywhere else. They seeing each other. They dealing with each other. They see him on a daily basis. These Levites and these priests and prophets in the temple, they see him on a daily basis. So that's who he talking to. Ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant. This is servant, whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand I am he. And before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me. Even I am the Lord, and besides me there is no Savior. So he's saying, you my witnesses. You see me every day. You see me in the temple doing, when you're doing your daily services in the temple. You my witnesses. Ain't nobody else be my witness but the priests and the Levites. So same thing right here. He says, let me get it. What is that? Yeah, 11. And all the people that were in the gate, see that? And the elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come under thee to thy house like Rachel and like Leah, virtuous women, whom which two did build the house of Israel, and to work to do worthily in Ephesus, and to be famous in Bethlehem. And let thy house be like the house of Perez, whom Tamar bore unto Judah, of the seed of which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman. So that seed that the Lord gave her is David. 13. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. See that? Took, like the serpent did. He took Ruth. He took Eve. So you familiar with what happened? There it is right here. So he took Ruth. He went into her, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception. So we can't fumble with it. So we know the same thing happened in the garden. And she bore a son, as David. And the woman said unto Naomi, blessed be the Lord, which have not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. And he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nurturer of thy old age, for thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, have borne him. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom, and became nurse unto it. And the woman, her neighbor, gave it a name, saying, Obed. It was Obed. Okay. Obed. Oh yeah, Obed had Jesse. Then Jesse had David. My bad. Therefore is the son born unto Naomi, and they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse. Right there, I got sidetracked. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. So David came forth from his union. Now these are the generations of Perez. Perez begot Aram. Aram begot Raymond. Ram begot Aminadab. Aminadab begot Nishon. Nishon begot Solomon. Solomon begot Boaz. Boaz begot Obed. And Obed begot Jesse. Jesse begot David. So here go the supernatural. They want to give you that listing of David lineage over there in Matthew, but we see right here. Here go the supernatural, just a supernatural thing right here, because we see what happened with Judah. Judah, he wanted Judah to lie with Tamar all along. But Judah had went down and lay with a Canaanite woman. He got 3 wicked ass sons. So he had to get rid of them 3 sons first, and then he caused Tamar and Judah to come together. They had Perez, and then from Perez, that lineage followed all the way to David. Then we see how the Most High hand was guiding Ruth to where she ended up with Boaz. Then from that, we got Obed, and then we got David. So we go, this is where all the supernatural stuff going on there right here. Now they're over there in Jesus' lineage. Okay, so let me finish reading this. In comment, I did finish reading my damn trip. Yeah, so that was chapter 4. Any comments? Any questions? Everybody good?
Shalom. Where you was reading at, right, of the generations of David, right?
Right.
You don't see JC in there anywhere, right? But like you said, when you go over to Matthew, you get a totally different generation that came about, right?
Right. Right, they going from what they doing right here is they going from Perez, which is during the time of when Judah went down and slept with the Canaanite woman, to David, and then in Matthew supposedly they going from David to Jesus.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I see that. And then it starts out in Matthew, and it makes no sense. The son of David, the son of Abraham, right?
Right.
And then Matthew 1 and 3 talks about Judas and Perez, right? But it's totally different from what it says in the Old Testament in Ruth. They just totally change it around by the time it gets to Matthew so that they can fit JC in that lineage of David.
Right. Exactly.
That's weird. I just never noticed that
Right.
before.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that they, and they keep that's what they do. Like I said, if grandmama and grandfather and all them, this wasn't going on back then. They kept them on the shallow water, and just so they can keep on following what they're saying, but they never went out and searched the scriptures out, or most of their spirit wasn't there at the time to bring it where it's at now. So you can even go even deeper than that, and you go to Ruth, what I just read. Like I was saying before, I mentioned this before. I don't know if it registered or not, but see, it's a big ass difference in when you say Bethlehem than when you say Bethlehem Euphrates. See that over here in verse 20. Aminadab begot Nishon, Nishon begot Salmon, Salmon begot Boaz, Boaz begot David, and begat Obed, Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David. So if you go back to verse chapter 4, verse 10. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Malon, have purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. Then 11, all the people that were in the gate, and the elders said, right? So we're gonna tell you where they at. The elders said, we are witnesses. The Lord make the woman that is come unto thine house like Rachel and like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel and do worship in Ephrata. See that? In Ephrata, and famous in Bethlehem. So it's a big ass difference in Bethlehem than Bethlehem Euphrates. So go back to First Samuel. See what I'm talking about. There, nobody don't put no emphasis on that, but I'm shining light on it now. Go to First Samuel. Okay.
Yes, sir.
16. First Samuel chapter 16. So it says, chapter 16, and it says, the Lord said unto Samuel, no, how long will thou mourn for Saul, seeing I have rejected him from reigning over Israel? Fill thy horn with oil and go. I will send thee to Jesse, the Bethlehemite, for I have provided me a king among his sons. And Samuel said, how can I go? If Saul hear it, he will kill me. And the Lord said, take the heifer with thee and say, I am come to sacrifice the Lord. And he called Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show thee what thou shalt do, and thou shalt anoint unto me him whom I name unto thee. And Samuel did that which the Lord spake, and he came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the town trembled at his coming, and said, cometh thou peaceably? And he said, peaceably I come to sacrifice unto the Lord, and sanctify yourselves, and come with me to the sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons, and called them to the sacrifice. And it came to trying to see what I saw it says, and it came to the pass when they were come, that he looked at Eli and said, surely the Lord will anointing is before him. And the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or Yeah. So anyway, it's somewhere in here it said Ephesus, but it's Ephesus, Bethlehem. It's two Bethlehem. You got Bethlehem Euphrates. Ephesus right here. This is where the Judeans are at, which come from Judah. Judeans live in Ephesus or Euphrates. And then you got another Bethlehem over in where Constantine and his mom and all of them set up this story with JC. Two Bethlehem. It's just the Bethlehem Euphrates. That's my point. And you're gonna see it a lot. They're gonna make sure that they put that Euphrates on there when they're talking about the Bethlehem where the Judeans was at. Okay. Any comments? Everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, like I said, you want to go into that, just go to Strong's Concordance and look at Ephesus, and then it's gonna give you all the places to go to see that. Connect those dots. So, like I said, it makes a point to tell you when Rachel died. It says Rachel died right outside of Ephesus, on the way to Ephesus, and they buried her by oak on the way to Ephesus. Okay, yeah. Okay. So everybody good? I guess we'll close it out right here. Okay. We'll be on Clubhouse tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. So I'll see everybody on Clubhouse at 8. We'll post it. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.